17 NFL power rankings. So coming in at number 32, we have the Chicago Bears. So the Bears don't technically have the worst record in the league, but the team that was in last place last week, I had to move up one spot. You'll see why in a minute. So the first half of the season actually had some promising moments for the Bears. The second half hasn't been as exciting, but the good news is it seems like they have found their franchise quarterback. At number 31, I have the Houston Texans. So do the Texans still have the worst record in the league? Yes, but did I pick them to go into Tennessee and pull off the upset versus the Titans? And did they actually do that? Yeah, so I gotta give them their flowers after a big win and just move them up one spot. You know, I gotta give them their credit, give them the little clap there in one spot. It's fine. At number 30, I have the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm actually surprised they were able to take the Bucs to overtime with their third string quarterback, Trace McSorley, but they still ended up losing. And this season is still a major disappointment with big changes probably coming at the end of the season. At number 29, I have the Indianapolis Colts. It seems like Nick Foles doesn't have any magic left in him. No tutties and 3 interceptions in their 20-3 loss versus the Chargers. At number 28, I have the Denver Broncos. Just LOL. Just what a disaster. Another game where Broncos players are yelling at each other and almost fighting each other on the sideline. Russ simply cannot play football right now. It's just like he can't play the quarterback position right now. In the future, it looks very bad for this team with all their guaranteed money that they have to pay Russ over the next few years. At number 27, I have the Atlanta Falcons. So after a somewhat promising start to the year, emphasis on the somewhat, they have really fallen apart in this second half and just lost to the Ravens. At number 26, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. These Derek Carr interceptions, they're getting pretty bad. They had a chance to go down and tie this game with just about a minute left versus the Steelers, but what happens? Boom, a Derek Carr interception and they lose the game. At number 25, I have the Los Angeles Rams. So this offense put up 50 versus a very decent Broncos defense. Baker was extremely efficient, going 24 of 28 with 2 touchdown passes. At number 24, I have the Carolina Panthers. What a huge win for them versus one of the hottest teams in the league, the Lions. They shut down this Lions run game that has been really good this year. They only allowed the Lions team to rush for 45 yards. And then for the Panthers, they had Chuba Hubbard and Foreman each rushed for over 100 yards. They each rushed for over 100 yards. That's crazy. At number 23, I have the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is just not doing it for the Browns right now. They have been eliminated from the playoffs after their loss versus the Saints at home. At number 22, I have the New Orleans Saints. A big road win for them outside in the elements, in the freezing cold versus the Browns, and they keep their playoff hopes alive with that dub. At number 21, I have the Seattle Seahawks. After a hot start to the season, this team has gone cold. They now have a losing record after their loss versus the Chiefs. At number 20, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Tom Brady is not playing like Tom Brady right now. But despite that, he still has led this team on a handful of comeback victories. I really don't think they should have gone to overtime versus the Cardinals. They really should have been able to handle business earlier in that game versus the third string quarterback, Trace McSorley. But a win is a win, I guess. I would have liked to see them dominate that game. It would have given me more hope and confidence in this team heading into the final stretch of the season and possibly the playoffs. At number 19, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a great late fourth quarter drive by Kenny Pickett to throw the game-winning touchdown pass. He has really taken some great steps in his development this season. At number 18, I have the New England Patriots. They almost pulled off a crazy comeback after being down 22-0 at half. A fumble lost them a game yet again, just like last week versus the Raiders. So this time it was in the red zone and it stopped their comeback just short. At number 17, I have the New York Jets. The bad news for the Jets. You drafted a guy number 2 overall who was absolutely atrocious and isn't going to be on your team after 2 years. The good news, Mike White is cleared to return. So there is a chance this Jets team can still make the playoffs. They need some Mike White magic here, but it is possible still. Anything can happen with Mike White, guys. At number 16, I have the Tennessee Titans. This is the coldest team in the NFL. Their loss versus the Texans marks their 5th loss in a row. This losing streak started when they were 7-3. They were 7-3, then this losing streak started, and now they have a record below 500. At number 15, I have the Green Bay Packers. Guess who's back? The Pack. Somehow, they are still in playoff contention. They are 1 game below 500 after that big win versus the Dolphins honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers somehow sneak into the playoffs. They're finally clicking. It took long enough, but they're finally clicking and can actually take that last wild card spot in the NFC. At number 14, I have the Washington Commanders. Taylor Heineke was actually benched for Carson Wentz in their loss versus the 49ers. And as of right now, today's Tuesday, early in the morning, they haven't named a starter yet. This is the worst time to have a quarterback controversy or not have a set starting quarterback. When you're trying to make a late season push for the playoffs, it just gives your team distractions and unknowns and things up in the air. Honestly, if I was Ron Rivera, I would roll with Taylor Heineke. He just brings something to this team. He just brings an energy to this team. Carson Wentz, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to get the guys as hype as Taylor Heineke does. I would stick with Taylor Heineke. He's the one who had them on that win streak a little while ago. I think that's what you got to do if you're Washington. Don't go back to Carson Wentz. At number 13, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars after their win versus the Jets and the Titans loss versus the Texans. The Jaguars can make the playoffs if they beat the Titans week 18. Whoever wins that matchup is going to win that division. And honestly, I would pick the Jaguars to win right now. They're on a hot streak, and the Titans, like I just said, are the coldest team in the league. I think the Jaguars are going to make the playoffs, guys. At number 12, I have the New York Giants. Losing on a 61-yard field goal is deflating, to say the least. At number 11, I have the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins playoff spot is anything but locked up right now after this losing streak just continues to go on. Tua, how did they let him continue playing? I have no idea how they can mess up the Tua concussion stuff again and again. They have guys up there looking for players who might have a concussion, and you would think with Tua's history that people would have more of a closer eye on him and just making sure he's okay. I don't know how they put him on concussion protocol a day after the game where he played the whole game. It's just really scary how the Dolphins keep messing this up. At number 10, I have the Detroit Lions. The hot streak comes to an end just before they can secure a winning record. The Panthers just dominated both lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, handing the Lions a double-digit L. At number 9, I have the Baltimore Ravens. A nice bounce-back win for them versus the Falcons to secure a playoff spot. At number 8, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert didn't play his best game in this one, but the defense balled out, not allowing a single touchdown, and this secures the Chargers a spot in the playoffs. At number 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys. A nice bounce-back win for the Cowboys after a tough loss in overtime versus the Jaguars versus their division rival, the Eagles. Even though they didn't have Jalen Hurts out there, it's still an impressive win. At number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. So yes, they almost blew a 22-point lead, but they didn't, so that's what matters. The defense came up big late in the fourth quarter to seal this win after Joe Burrow threw some INTs that led the Patriots back into this game. At number 4, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Finally, the Chiefs get a comfortable win, a win where they don't have to have their fans on the edge of their seat because they're playing too close with a team they're much better than. They finally get a dominant 2-possession win versus Seattle. At number 3, I have the San Francisco 49ers, the hottest team in the league. 8 wins in a row. 8 in a row. It's so impressive what they've done with 3 different quarterbacks under center this year. At number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills. Ever since their midseason slump, losing back-to-back games versus the Jets and Vikings, the Bills have bounced back in a big way. They are now on a 6-game winning streak and looking very, very dominant. And at number 1, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. So I debated moving the Eagles down after their loss versus the Cowboys, but then I was like, listen, they lost a very close game versus their division rival, their very good division rival, with their backup quarterback. They still have the best record in the league. I'm not going to move them down just yet. I feel like they're a very well-rounded team, and I think they could beat anyone in the NFC, and I think they could beat anyone in the AFC and win the Super Bowl. So I'm still going to keep them at number 1. I feel the most comfortable with this team at number 1. I feel like they have the least amount of weaknesses. That's what I'll say. I feel like they're the most well-rounded, deep team right now. Let me know your top 5 teams in the comments down below. Peace.